Okay, welcome back. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Hopefully, everybody else that was here will be able to find us again for part two. I don't know if the notifications were working or anything like that, but welcome back to the Forbidden History Chronicles. You're here with NinjaCat 111 and Desert Owl from the Forbidden History series and Forbidden History Archive. Welcome back, Desert, and can we please get a sound check from the
Thank you.
chat?
Okay, thank you, Ninja. We're back. Radio check. One thing we want to be is balanced. Always give us a balance check as well, because I don't want to be too loud over on Ninja and vice versa. We want to be as balanced as we can. So we've got some people listening in. Let's see if we can get our. I let Lynn know that we were back on. Let me
Yeah,
get our
Lynn's got
Yogeneer.
appointments and things to do today, so
I
I
see.
don't know if she's still around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell our Yogeneer.
Okay.
For audio check.
Testing,
CK.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, and so very good. You had some questions, Ninja, so let's go ahead and do them.
Yes, I don't know which one to do first. Uh, I might get into. I'll do a simple one first. I was looking at the word won as in WON, as in you won a race or you won a game
Uh-huh.
or you won a battle. And I was seeing all the connections there um, because of when you spoke about chess and the games and the duality with the black and white um, checkerboard and how we were seeing it with the flag with car racing and we're seeing it with the dice and all, in everything. I was thinking of all of that, um, and I also thought of the other word one as in the number one, ONE. Um, and when you win something, you are number one at whatever that is that you just won at.
Yeah.
And also, then I started doing anagrams. One backwards is now,
Right,
and
but the W is a corruption, so it will be a V, and therefore it will be Nov,
wow,
and Nov is the prime root for knowledge, and also for Nova, meaning a new star.
yeah,
And if you won something, you became a new star, right?
yeah, wow, wow. Um,
Mhm.
and then
Now that's Wove, Wove,
that's
Vav.
that's
Actually, it's Vav,
that's yeah,
VAV, the sound vibration. Look
vava
out,
voom. That
va
sound
va va boom.
vava
Mhm.
voom. And then I went on and rearranged the letters again and got own, OWN, and that made me think of when people are. I also saw something in this as well. When people are egging on the people they are going for in a race or whatever, um, they're egging them on to win. Uh, they
Huh?
they they often yell "own it." When you're egging somebody
Huh?
on to do something. Um, I don't know. I hear people say "own it." Um, yeah, I just
Yeah.
see all the
Well, those are
connections
the
there.
play on words, right? These are all these forms all stem from an original
Yeah,
source, and they expand in different directions by different cultures, and so that's how it unfolds. Like in other words, like a tapestry, it only gets bigger, right? It doesn't get smaller. It only gets bigger the more people use these prime root forms, and then when the people go in different directions, then it takes on variable forms in each different part of the world. But then when you got priesthoods involved as well, then they're now manipulating the terminology, changing out letters, creating
yeah,
new
yeah.
letters, all game, the game name of the game.
Yeah, and just the one last thing regarding all of that. Um, when I was thinking, when it came to mind, when people are egging somebody on, the egging, like in that context, they're encouraging somebody, they're motivating them to do something, to be good at whatever it is. But egging is also one of the main shenanigans that people do with actual eggs, like especially with Halloween, egging somebody's house, and yet they're egging
Yeah.
people on when people are
Hmm.
playing sports and games and things. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, wow, yeah,
Right, but it also could be agging. Agging. Remember how we pronounce something? Because the word egg, as you hear the word
yeah,
egg, is not egg, it's agg. A
yeah,
letter A.
yeah,
You see, so the word isn't even telling the truth
yeah.
when you write it, because it's not an egg, it's an agg, and then you get the word ag that we find in agate,
Wow.
navigate. You see, and so it means to move. And so if I'm egging you on, I'm forcing you to move, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's not throwing an egg. It is in the deeper meaning of the word, the form, the root form itself.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
But there's just so much. It's so mixed up out there. Um.
it
Yeah.
is.
Wow. I mean, Vav. Um. Yeah. Okay. So that was that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. And Kip said it's typically we find it in America. It implies to get somebody to do something wrong because you're egging them on.
Yeah, egging them
Right.
on in a fight
There's a
or
negative. There
whatever.
is a
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah.
There's a negative context
Yeah.
associated with that. Right. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was seeing. I was seeing the encouragement
Yeah.
in a good way, and the
Yeah.
duality of that. I was seeing the two sides of it. Yeah.
Classically, I guess we see it when they're egging somebody on to fight.
Yeah.
That's where we see the egging, agging.
Yeah.
Uh huh. Yeah. Aggravate. Do you see the word aggravate is there all?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're going to aggravate you as they navigate you. Right.
Wow, does it? It's just endless. I mean, and um yeah, endless, endless. Um okay, I wrote down a quote that I saw, so I'm just going to read that out, and then I'll go to another word, if that's okay with you.
Okay. It
Um,
is.
it is much easier to fool people than it is to convince people that they have been fooled, by Mark Twain. So there you go.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
It is because
It's-
people
yeah.
are on the surface. They're
Yeah.
not deep thinkers,
Yeah.
and therefore, as soon as you tell somebody something, oh yeah, oh, and then they start repeating it.
Yeah.
They just immediately, because it sounded good. It sounded pretty good, but they're not. It's that's called hearsay because they're not a
Yeah.
witness to any event, but they in other words, okay, I think the classic example, or to show the sensationalism behind something like that, is in the stories we have in our scriptures, our what we call our gospels. And whenever Yeshua would heal someone, he would say to them, now, don't tell anybody. Okay, go show yourself to the priesthood and do the things that are required by Moishan to, heal, purify yourself. And people are thinking, forget the French, okay, but you know what I mean. Screw the priesthood, okay. I'm going out there. I'm telling the rest of the world,
Yeah.
because why would they think that way? Because they knew the priesthood was corrupt. They were pirates, and but the point beyond that aspect of what Yeshua, see, in the ancient, it was a custom, and so in other words, they thought differently than we think. Back then,
Yeah.
obviously, the terminology, the expressions, the idioms, the axioms, all these things were different, and so it would be like being on another planet. And so in the ancient time, when if everybody knew something, right, then nobody would get excited about it, right? Because in other words, I wouldn't want to think I'm going to get to call Ninja on the phone as soon as I can and tell her this, right? Because you already know it, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
but a thing that is known um, is of no import to get to start telling everybody else. But when Yeshua said, now don't tell anybody, okay, like when he healed the girl that rose from the dead, the mother and the father, he was the head of a temple, and he asked him. He met him on the road. Said, "Please come heal my daughter. She is dying, or she has already died." Um, um, and so he went there and they find out she's dead. And he says, "No, she's only sleeping." He gets everybody out. And then he says, "Talitha kume, um, rise." And so the little girl rises, and he says, "Now give her something to eat, but don't tell anybody what we have done here." And whenever he would say that in that tradition, what it literally meant was tell the rest of the world. You see,
people,
if it's a secret
just
and
go
you
and do
mean,
the
yeah,
opposite.
nobody knows this. Well, let's go tell
Yep,
everybody.
yep,
You know, because what was his purpose to come here but to bring the light
yeah,
of revelation and the excitement of what he was offering to us, life, right?
yeah,
Life. He's offering us life. He raised the dead. He rose from the dead. He came back. No better comeback in history than rising from the dead, and people are still waiting for him, and they're implying that he's not here. You know, so that's why they immediately ran and told everybody right after he tells them, "Don't tell anybody." And you
yeah,
see, so we think that they just didn't listen to him. No, he's tipping them off. Nobody knows this. Run. You know,
yeah,
tell the world. Be the first one to tell them. Everybody remember in the ancient time they didn't have television. So what did people want? They were always looking for somebody to tell them a new thing,
yeah.
right?
They relied on that. Yeah,
Yeah, word of mouth. That's the only way it went.
yeah.
Not paper, not
Communication.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Thank you.
yeah. Our world is a strange place, Ninja. We got no idea. We're trying. Be like I like the classic. The Bible thumper gets their King James. Now they know everything, and they have no idea how they thought, how they lived, the problems with translation, the control of words. They just immediately now think they got. They've already got it figured out. Rather than humbling themselves and admit they don't know anything, and just continue to seek out the depth of what is going on. And that's the hardest thing, because the whole world has been brought to us on the illusion, on the fraud. And so therefore people are hoping that what they're hearing at the pulpit is the truth. And so they're relying on other people, and then they don't have the money to and the to buy all the books or know where to find the books. What books do they get? And then they're going to have to take time to read and maybe fast and pray and all that stuff. It's just it's a major work. It's a major work. It's a life work. It means you have to forget everything else, because there's no time for anything else other than to unravel the great mystery of life, Ninja. That's the great irony behind this. I even for all that I know, I feel like I have wasted my life at times. I got misdirected because well, becoming a political activist was not the correct road, but it was
Yeah.
the natural one, because I
You
saw
had to
these
learn
psychopaths
everything.
kill
Yeah.
our families.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that road
Yeah.
too. That political activism was a dead nail. And then ultimately I went from being a spiritual pacifist to a political activist, and then I go back to being a spiritual pacifist again.
Yeah.
Because
But you
then
had
I
to,
knew the
yeah,
truth.
you had to know all this stuff to be where
Yeah.
you are today,
Well, I had to go
broadcasting
through my
and telling the
experience. Yeah.
world.
My
Yeah.
experience. I had to study the law. I had to study custom. Had to study law of nations. All cultures. It's been a long journey of discovery, and I paid my dues and put my hands to the plow, and have the evidence of that all around me. And so in the sacrifice I made, in the persecution I'm going through right now. So so anyway, I'm excited about sharing with others. I appreciate Kip always brings on good questions. I wish other people would bring on what it is they're trying to wrap their mind around about our infinite nature and this temporary universe. The universe theoretically could go on indefinitely, and maybe it will. But yet everything that has a beginning has an end. You see, and so the star or the planet, will ultimately have an end at one point. In fact, it looks like maybe 2 years left, and our planet's over from the standpoint of life on it. Because they've killed our planet with the modern technology of the industrial age of releasing carbons, combustion engines, and all those things we didn't need when energy was free and clean, right up in the atmosphere. And instead they gave us a world, a phony world where they could tax us for the mineral resources, and in the end they've now killed our planet. So we're in a real fix. So the time to be able to figure it out, we have no time left. And so I knew that the Father was bringing me to this point in time, uh, on the long journey through the 40-year wilderness that I proverbially went on. And so now, in other words, when I was broadcasting 10 years ago and doing the law and doing um, law programming, and other program, some political and others on CPS issues, trying to save babies' lives, bring public awareness to that. But I actually forgot where I was going with all that, Ninja. Yeah, I'm over 60. Okay, so you can
Okay,
appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
It's
Don't
tough
worry.
what happened
You remember
live in the air, but
my 3 second
I,
memory.
I, I have five
Uh,
trails in front of me, and I don't know which one I'm going down now.
yeah,
I can go in so
yeah.
many directions.
I think we're all affected. Um, we're all affected, like worldwide at the moment, by everything
Yeah,
in the atmosphere. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
That was
referring
where I
back
was
to our
at. That
conversation the other night
that
where I couldn't
emotion,
remember a
that
thing.
everything
Yeah.
everything has a beginning, that has a beginning, has an end. So that mountain that I climbed 40 plus years ago to the very top of Mount Whitney, 14,500 feet, that mountain is gonna crumble. It's coming down. We can't see it, but it is, right? So it's on a different timeline, and that's the thing with this universe. So the point is that beyond our universe is an eternal realm, eternal, because the A keeps going round on the circle beneath it. That the A is the architect's compass. So symbols, all these things are relative. I don't know where we were going with all this, Ninja. So are you got a follow up, or do you want me to take
I've
off here?
got one more thing to discuss, and then I'll let you
All
roll
right.
on, Desert. um, yeah, that I
I'm not.
found.
I'm not. Never mind. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Keep
Okay.
saying it.
Um, I found that word that I was looking for. I'd taken a screenshot when I Googled it. Okay, this before I say any of this, this is not intended to. Um,
Well, you do that. I'll be right back. I got to do something.
okay, okay, this is not intended to offend or insult anybody. I'm just talking. We're just talking about words here. Um, okay, so I have a TV in my house. I'd prefer not to. But with mum, it makes it easier to keep her
Back.
occupied. So we had the TV, we had the TV on the other night,
Hmm.
and the latest series of Australia's Got Talent, I think it's called Australia's Got Talent, um, is running on the TV. Um, so that I don't want to say show, but that's what it is. That show was on the other night, and uh, there was a guy that was singing, and he was, if I say incorrect terms, again, no offense intended. The politically correct way of saying this is Indigenous, but the Australian Aboriginals. He was an Australian Aboriginal, and
Yeah.
he was singing, and he was really good. And he sung half of it in English and half of his song in the Aboriginal language. And at the end of the song, they were talking to him, and he told them what one of the greetings were, how to say hello. And the word was, I've got it right here, this word. He said, we say yama when we greet people. And if you read this, if you read what's there, I googled it. If you read what's there, and you've been following what Desert is showing us, sorry, is teaching us. I keep saying the wrong words. You will see straight through it. Desert, can you see that yet on the screen?
Okay. Uh-huh. Okay,
Yeah,
Yama, listen, help, info. Well, the first thing I was thinking of was
and they use it
just
for
without what.
hello. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, the first thing I was thinking of before I even saw that was Yama, also synonymous with llama, and therefore it implies servant. And so now that I see it, it's saying it's a help. Or information. Well, information would be on the llama trail, right? The llamas carry the goods, and the information comes along for the ride. And so to listen, Yamaraya. There's the J with the Y sound in it.
Yeah,
Is a god of death. The sound Yama Raja, or that may be Yamaraja. Um, Yamaraja, but Yam is root, and so it's the root of light of Yah, Yamarayal is probably the more primitive Yamarama. So they're implying, oh, so okay, so what they're calling then the Yam, the root is the light, Yamar Ra, there's the Ra, Yam Ra, and then Yal Ja is Yal. That's the primitive. That's a corruption. And the pattern. I know all these patterns. Uh, and so the root of the light that goes round. And so what are they saying? As we've been talking about, the black sun. There it is, the god of death, not the
yeah,
god of light,
yeah.
but the god of death. And yet Yamarayal is literally the root of the light that goes round.
Wow.
That's the sun. You
And do
see?
you,
So
yeah,
And
do you,
so the south direction and the underworld, why? Well, because it goes in the underworld when it goes around. That's what they say. It went down into the underworld, comes back and dies, then comes back up another life again, belonging to an early stratum of Rigvedic Hindu deities. In Sanskrit, his name can be interpreted to mean twin. Well, okay, well, there's your duality
yeah,
again. Yes.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One.
yeah, big wow. And they
Right.
and the Aboriginals, like they have many different words they use to greet people with, but this was the one that he came up with on uh,
But indigenous, we don't want to use.
mainstream TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Right. But we don't want to use the word indigenous because we hear the word India right in there,
yeah,
in
yeah.
indigenous,
We get
and
told
as
to
you know, I
use that
talk
here.
about
Yeah,
as I talk about the Hindu culture being the Dravidic Indian culture, which is Aryan at its core, running the show. So in Indus, like Indus Valley, there's the word industry. Adonai backwards is India. So the influence, as I point out, is complete. It was a one world Vedic culture of pyramid cultures, and so indigenous then literally means the people without a god. So when they're calling
wow,
everybody else indigenous, they're saying they have no deity, and so they're going to give them
wow.
a deity, a false deity. Yeah, but and so it's an insult, basically. So Aboriginal, you're saying it twice. Actually, the people are originals, right? If you're saying that's what you mean, right? You're saying they are the
The
originals.
originals,
So when you
yeah.
say, so when you say Aboriginal, you're saying the first original. That's what you're really saying, the first original, or the star. A B is AB, right?
Wow.
So they're
So
the star originals. The star is the beginning, right?
yeah,
The
that's why
stars
they don't want us to say that. They want us to call them indigenous.
indigenous.
That's why. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow, Desert. Thank you. Please
Mhm.
continue.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a good one to bring on. All right. So okay. So noon. Here's another a black sun. Okay. Here's another example of the black sun, and so I'll type it in there so we can see it now. And now
Okay, I'll just look for
okay. So
another
this is going to be. I'm sorry.
oh, I'm just scrolling. I'm just looking for another picture now. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to deal with the word noon. And it's interesting because its origin is obscure, but symbolically, it is the correct word. And noon for high noon. That's because the two O's and the two N's means the duality that came down from the light. But there we see in here in the word, uh, which is correctly Middle English. That's M-E and Old French. Okay. Okay, Middle English, Old French. I messed up on those letters. Okay, so noon. So we see the word none. And so what is the word? What is the word for high noon in French and Middle English? None. None. You see. And so this is where we get. So what does none mean? It means nothing, right? Empty. And that's how it's passed down to us. But yet noon we know is the total is the high noon is the apex of creation, the light at its prime um, focus, right at the
Wow.
top, and the light coming down, full power, right?
Yeah.
Full power, high noon. And so what they do is they turn it into a negative, and they call it none. You see, in Old French and Middle English. And so then we could talk about the word like with the we. So we don't want to. So the word. So in other words, we do want to use the word noon because what it doesn't matter what they changed it into. It's just like we now don't use the word morning, the good morning, because we don't want to wish somebody die in your family. So why would we say good morning? But we do want to say, and I'll type it in there. That way people can see it. The new friends listening. RNING, but it is correctly MORGANN, which more correctly would be spelled MORGAYNN. Morgain. Morgain. Well, there's the word more, MORE, gain in modern, right? And of course, that's what you get every day. You get more gain, right? You get another opportunity to live, to find out, what life is about. And so it's the Morgain. So the Gan, Morgan is, if you look in the Hebrew's concordance, Gan is spelled like this, just simply like that, Gan. So there's your evidence of the abbreviation, okay? Because it at least it would, if we look at the Germanic, then it would be GANN, but it correctly it's missing the Y, and it's more gain. The I, the G for the sun, for the golden light, the AY for the I that that is coming down with the two ends representing the two powers coming down, the yin yang, the light and darkness, because it's coming down into creation, and creation is a lower realm, and therefore it's there's two gardens. One is the garden of the sun, the atom, falsely called Eden, and then the lower garden down here, where do we find darkness? There's a duality down here. There is light and darkness down here. The moon, sun and moon represent light and darkness, and they're the male, female making love as the great Thule of Haim, and they're bringing forth life on earth. The bridal chamber is the earth in the metaphor. Okay, so of course you got all that right, Ninja.
Of course, Desert. Yes.
And and
No,
so we don't
I'm following. Yeah, it's
right.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
so that's why we don't want to be awake, because if we're awake, we're a funeral. So we want to be enlightened. We want to be enlightened, not awake. That's where we're making distinctions about these terminology. And so the same with the word toilet, TOILET, which correctly means, based on its Indo-Germanic form, the fake sun. The toilet is the fake sun, or the
Wow.
toy. So there's the word TOY. Okay, so a toy is fake, and toilet LET is LAY. So it's the toilet. And so lay is light. That's when you go to Hawaii. They put the round circle around your neck with flowers. Flower represents the sun. It's called the lay. The AY is the prime of the eye. AY is eye, the original. L for light. Okay, so toilet means artificial light. So that's how the joke goes. Let's go to the toilet. Let's go to the fake light. Okay, the twilight. And so this is how the game has been played on us by occultic priesthoods that got nothing better to do but to drink blood, rape children, and to have a party every Sunday in their occult mass after Saturday night. They did a dark ritual underground in the basement. You see? Yeah.
Desert, I have something else.
Oh, not more, Ninja. Come on. Really?
I don't know if I can explain it very well, but hopefully you can see what I'm trying to get at.
It,
Um,
after all that, I'm just like, okay, let me go vomit and I'll be right back, dealing with psychopaths that
oh,
run our.
you okay?
I'm okay, just
Okay.
when I never imagined, like you wake up one day and say, when I get old, I want to go expose the occult world and and talk about their perverted machinations on how they designed our world. It's like How did this happen? You know,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
I was
pinching
lousy in
myself every
English.
day that
I I
I'm
I, I hated English, you know,
yeah.
and yeah, and yeah. So it's because it was boring, boring. You know, as boring as it get. Memorize adjectives,
I didn't
adverbs,
understand the
nouns,
spelling
pronouns.
rules because they were
Yeah,
always being broken by
yeah,
words that didn't
yeah.
follow the spelling rules. Yeah. Anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So were you
um
going something?
yeah, I was thinking um
That'll get you in trouble.
I
Mhm.
know. I think it was on the last live stream, like not part one of this one, but the previous one. Um, well, I'm not sure. We were talking about how we don't own anything. When we die to this world, we don't take anything with us. Everything gets
That's
left
right.
behind. Therefore, we
Other
don't
than
own.
who you are. Who
Yeah,
you are is the only thing that goes with
yeah,
you. Hmm.
yeah. Anything physical, material things, we don't own them.
Yeah, some people
Yeah,
like. I remember this guy talking one day when I was in my deep test 20 years ago in the Gulag, and he's saying, "Man, when I get up there, I'm gonna have a guitar. You know, man, I'm gonna be rocking. Give me a golly,
play
you know."
air guitar.
Yeah, thinks he's gonna have a guitar and and a whole bunch of toys to play with. Gets has no idea about the other world,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we want to go to.
yeah. Anyway, that got me thinking of something um, that I think has been pushed up on us and twisted, like with the duality thing again. Um, all the stories of utopia and for example the lost city of Atlantis, and there's always talk about this place uh, being peaceful and nobody owns anything there, everybody shares, and therefore it's more harmonious to live there. And I can see the lie there, and how they're using that, like because of the nature of this world, like we don't own anything on this world. And that story, um I don't know, it just I just saw that as being very similar. Just talking about not owning anything, and everybody's happy and sharing, and when they're
Yeah.
finished, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I've seen
Well,
that
sure.
story everywhere.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Well, it reminds me of a beautiful out of the Gospel of the Essenes. It's got a beautiful read in there. I wish I could grab it now to to read it, but basically, it says that Yeshua is talking, and he's saying you don't own the world. The world owns you, and the world is your mother, and your mother is going to take back from you um your bones and your flesh and your blood. It will all go back. And so that is the proverbial truth. The earth owns us. The material essence, that's what we're talking about, the material
yeah,
essence.
yeah,
The spirit is eternal, but we will give our bodies back to the earth one day. We know it's a fact. But yet people are too busy having a party and just going on thinking, well, I'll deal with that later on. And then the clock ticks, and all of a sudden one day they're old, and they've got no opportunity to figure it all out, or unless they think they got instant salvation without having to follow the scriptural plan that is provided. It is true that people in the late part of their existence can have a transformation. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying in general, because like it says that many seek to enter in, but yet few are saved. That's what it says. Few will be going. So even those who have worked the better part of their lives with the truth, we find out they're in false traditions,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
600 different flavors of Christianity. Baskin Robbins, which flavor do you want? Rocky Road, pink cotton candy, pistachio polka dot. any flavor you want, you can have. You know, any flavor.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. There's even Technicolor now. Remember that multicolored
Yeah.
church um, video that I sent you quite a while back? Uh, uh, wor- uh, I think it was worshipping stoners. I think.
Uh,
Yeah, it was all multicolored. Um, yeah,
oh, in Colorado, that
yeah, the one.
Rainbow Church.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rainbow.
The Church of Hemp. Yeah, the Church of Hemp.
Yeah,
With occultic symbols right up in the front with the pyramid,
yeah.
right, and
I'm
all that
just looking
stuff,
for
right?
that. I've
Yeah.
got that
I
here
remember that.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So that's everything that I had written down. Um,
Okay. Back to me.
back to you, and I'll look for that um, picture
Okay.
while you're.
Okay. Well, Ninja, can we go to a quick musical break? I just need to, 3 minutes. If you got 3 minute, and then I'm going to go to the dictionary of all scriptures and myths, and we'll do a
Okay.
read out of there. I got some good reading today. Okay.
Okay. I'll look forward to it.
All right. I'm going to put it on mute, and I'll be right back. Thank you.
Okay.
It'll be
Okay,
real quick,
guys.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Stay
All
with
right.
us. We'll be right back.
All right.
We'll just play some pretty music. Okay, welcome back. You're listening to the Forbidden History Chronicles with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series YouTube channel and Forbidden History Archive. There he is right in the chat. Thank you for staying with us. I love all of you. And I'd like to welcome any new listeners. You won't hear this anywhere else. This is what they did not want you to know. And welcome back, Desert.
I have to say I'm so glad to hear that the Barbie of Tucson has got religion now and has washed her filthy mouth, and apparently she's a virgin now. Did you know that?
Yeah, I
And
noticed.
hmm
I noticed. Very
okay,
pure. Yep,
and not
wearing
only
black
that,
and Marines baseball
not only that,
caps.
but
Yep,
she's converted from being a bully and
yep,
a stalker because she stalked you,
yep.
and now has actually done a program on that very topic. And so I'm so grateful that she's given up her life of bullying people and being a hornet on stinging other people and trying to do damage to the work of other people that's honest and legitimate. And so I'm assuming then she must have called you and apologized for the last year of playing games with you, right? When you were already targeted individual and under extreme persecution and oppression. Has she called you to apologize?
You would think, but no. And I wouldn't
Okay.
know because she's blocked. So yeah,
Okay. Well,
from
then, as you
everything.
know,
Yep.
well, she's got phone numbers. She's got my number. She's
Yeah.
got your. She
I
can get you.
spammed
So,
her.
so in other
So
words, it's just another show. Just
yeah.
another show for her listeners out there,
Yep.
because the show must go on, of course. But I know an Eastern Star when I see
Sorry, I'm
one.
just laughing at Kip. Yep.
Okay,
Please continue.
Kip.
Eastern Star.
Okay, uh huh. Kip's the
I'm
virgin.
sorry.
All right, that was a good one, Kip. And but the difference is, Kip has a pure heart. I know
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
he's not here. Anyway, we don't have to go there anymore. But it was important to note that the light, when the light shines, actually it is a scouring pad and can clean people up, ladies and gentlemen. So good for that. But of course, that's a great pretender that's out there without getting into the story. You just go back and listen to 177, 178 on NinjaCat 111, and you'll get the picture. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We,
So
we we did not
unfortunately,
say anything bad about this person, and we did not say anything bad about this person for an entire year until
yeah,
we put the
we
pieces
just took it.
together.
We took
Yeah.
every hit and every game that was played on us, and
Yeah.
then finally we had to make our statement to let people know that there's witches out there, and they go to work on harming other people. So shame on them. Anyway,
Yeah.
Ninja, we're in the book of Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths,
Woohoo.
and we're on victory and triumph. So that's a good place to be.
Wow.
And a symbol of complete subdual of the lower nature with its passions, desires, and affections, and consequent liberation of the soul from the cycle of births and deaths. Of course, that's the ancient philosophy, and they twisted it and got everybody thinking of hell and damnation now. That if you don't make it here, you're burned and tortured forever. But of course, that came out of Babylon, and of course out of the Vatican, and hell is the grave. Sheol is the grave. Hades is the grave. Okay, but they converted it into a place where you are tortured forever. But if we look at things logically, because everything is a reflection of from above, everything above is reflecting on what's below, and so we know as fathers, we would never want our children to be tortured forever in torments of excruciating pain. There would be no benefit in doing something like that, and that this is a man concocted idea. And so the whole purpose of Father creating us is so that we could go back home into the light. And if we don't make it, then we're somewhere we don't know where we are. But obviously, can't if you don't go back. Then the ancient philosophy of all the ancient traditions is that you get another opportunity somewhere down the line, maybe another planet, maybe this one, but they've killed this one, so it definitely is not going to be here. But anyway, I don't do much to make doctrine about that, but I just wanted to, because it implied, the cycles of births and deaths. Okay,
Yeah.
right here. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal will have put on immortality, then will come to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Okay, 1 Corinthians 15:54. At the end of the cycle, when the purification of the souls has been accomplished, the mortal lower nature will fall away. In fact, the word mortal itself means death. Okay, so that's like mortar, right? I need some mortar, mortar. The body is the motor, mortar, and mortal means death because the physical creation is temporary. It's like your clothing. You are not your clothing. You are not your body. You are not your house. You are not your automobile, right? But people think they are, right? They think they or the tattoos, right? Now we see them putting on the tattoos and all the spikes and
Yep.
everything else, and they think that's them. But it's all an illusion. It'll go back to the dirt and be gone and buried and forgotten about. And that's why working on the inner nature, Barbie, is the most important thing that there is. That's who we are, and so that's what we have to identify with because we have to work on the inside, not on the outside. If we work on the inside, then the outside will take on an aura and a quality that is acceptable of the Father, and people will know something about you because you exemplify purity and calmness and knowledge and all of these things, and people will see that. We'll see that in your character. Okay, so but not with spikes. Spikes and you see and tattoos and all that stuff. I always wonder what they're going to look like when they're grandmothers. And they got all those on the calf of their leg and around their ankle and in their noses and I mean, gee,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's already horrific. But when they're 80 years old, that's
Yeah.
going to be quite a picture. You know what I mean? And so and
Sorry.
what did it do for them? It didn't do anything for them other than make them, feel different. That's all. Just
Yeah.
it's a superficial, activity because it doesn't create life. It doesn't. In fact, a lot of people might not want to hire you for a job,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, but yet people they have to create an aura.
And
You
it
see, that's
hurts. Like
what they want.
everything they do to their body, it involves pain to get the result.
Well, that's true too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I sure wouldn't want to pierce my tongue with a spike, But anyway, so to continue here,
Yeah.
and so at the end of the cycle, I'm sorry,
I'm
were you
just
jumping
saying
in?
yes, please continue. Yeah.
Oh, at the end of the cycle, when the purification of the souls has been accomplished, the mortal lower nature will fall away, and the perfected individualities perfected. Oh, there's that dirty word that most Christians hate. Perfected individualities, in other words, your qualities becoming perfected, will enter as victors, the victory of light, into the enlightenment and joy of the Yahweh, the Moeshanyak, the Moeshanyak, the Moeshiach, excuse me. Um, that's Messiah. Moeshiach is Messiah. And a victory there of glory there, that's illumination again, I conquer by this my most mighty word, Eshavor, which is within my bode, for it is not this my throne, and that comes from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. See, and so remember the law of syzygy. Before the true philosophy would come, many false ones would come, and so these are it's relevant. In other words, if we study the religion, like we do in Catholicism, it's the same thing. It's a type of a truth, but it's not the truth, right? But yet it talks about being good, being benevolent, while the priest stood
Yeah.
underground, raping children and drinking blood and having ritual sacrifices, But Jesus loves you. Yes, I know, for the Bible tells me so. And so when we study any of these ancient traditions, we find out that they put on the aura of benevolence. In other words, those who were in what is falsely called Egypt, correctly called Meitzar, um, you know, that the people were sincere and innocent, wanting to be good and act right. and be benevolent. We only have a negative picture of Meitzar, but the people were just like everybody else, wanting to be part of a true transcendent philosophy and tradition that would give them eternal life. So, but the priesthood behind it are joking and laughing because they are having a party and they got everybody to follow whatever they drafted. But it's a type of the truth. It's a type. So it's not evil to read about the Book of the Dead, because we learn by studying other cultures. And we find out the irony is that it's almost an identical type to the one that we embrace in the pure tradition, which has also now been called false and phony and never happened and all these things. Of course, we know the evidence is so overtly clear that, if Yeshua didn't exist, then Jerusalem doesn't exist. You see, that it's as easy as that, Ninja. You see, it's as easy as that because that was the navel of the earth, and Jerusalem is where the Watchers first lived, the first, Aryans. From there all the way up to the Lake of Galilee, which was called the Genocide, and meaning the garden of the light and enlightenment. All of those things, and a whole lot more that we talk about on this broadcast. Okay, so the higher self subdues the planes of nature by means of the life within the forms, and it does this from its throne, the casual body. So we are sitting on a throne, just like in the metaphor, Yeshua is on the throne of the sun. That's why the Pharaoh said he's seated on the sun throne, because he claims to be a representative of the great spirit of life. And the throne, the logo, the symbol, of light is the sun. There's a light beyond that light, a greater light. And so that's a lesser light in that reality, you see? And it brings forth creation. It's a motor that's doing a job. And so the spirit is seated on the throne, and that's Yeshua, seated on the throne of the sun. And this is a reason why, of course, they demonized any idea that had to do with sun worship, right? And yet when I study ancient cultures, I don't find anybody worshiping the sun. That's a false narrative because they wanted our minds to be prejudiced against the light, as we talked about at the beginning of the program about the black sun, right? The black sun, because they got to put out the light, so they got to demonize any aspect of pointing to that light, because that is the source of all creation and of all life. That's why it's at the center, a solar system, because the planets and the moons are the children of the sun. That's why they go around their mother, because they need the light to live. They nurse on the breast. Breast is the word east. See, the word east is in breast, right? Because that is the breast, the mother's breast, the mother's star, represented as Mary when she brings forth the seed of light. Okay? So there is no sun worship. That's a false narrative, because even Native American people declared that they didn't worship the sun. They recognized it was the house of the Great Spirit. Okay? Even our scriptures say it is his temple. Let me pull it up, okay? I'll just give you the, let me see if I can do it real quick. In Isaiah? No, it's in Psalms, right? Oh, yeah, Psalms, and it's, thanks to Bullinger, we identified with it. If I can find it real quick. Oh, yeah. He has set, here it is. This is Psalm 19:4. He has set his tabernacle in the sun among them. He has set his tabernacle in the sun. And that's in Psalm 19:4, verse 4. This is Lamsa from the Eastern tradition. And then if we go to Revelation, and this is a revelation for most people, because they are not thinking like this. They don't get the picture, because they have been denied the true translations, because it would destroy the false narrative. Don't look at the light. Don't look at the light, ladies and gentlemen. Don't look at that light up there. Don't look at it. Okay, yet it's relevant for everything that goes on this planet. And now the fire is destroying the earth, because and it said that it would destroy it ultimately by fire, because of the wickedness of mankind and what they have done. But here in chapter 19, again, another 19 in Revelations, go to verse 17. It says, "And I saw the royal Malach standing in the sun, the royal messenger standing up in the sun. That's Yeshua. That's what Yalganun, John, saw. Okay, so the scriptures are telling it, but we never stop, and because they took out all the other ones. That this is the remnant that was left that allows me to do this presentation. But it was prevalent. It was prevalent, and yeah. So okay. So continuing here, it is our destiny to find our place to be a glorious. That's illuminated. Illumination comes from light. Perfect. Oh, they hate that, don't they? Perfect divine humanity. That must be an impossibility, right? Divine humanity. I mean, that's what we hear from Christianity. Um, the false Christianity, because it is a part of the true Christianity that we. What did we do? We come from being imperfect to putting on the perfection of Yeshua. We went from being corrupt into a state of incorruption. No more with filthy garbage coming out of our mouth, Barbie, and the idea of doing all things well, because it represents the Father of light. He does things perfectly. That's why Yeshua said, "Be you must therefore be perfect, because your Father who rules from the throne of the Son, not in heaven, but who rules from his throne in the Son," because the code word heaven took away the light and gave us the evening. Okay, who rules from the throne of the Son, be perfect as he is perfect. Okay, so and he creates a divine humanity. We went from being mortal, which means death, to becoming immortal. Immortal meaning spirit. You see, two distinct qualities, one of the earth, one of above, and the light. Which one do you want? You see, but that's not what we're getting from the bullpit. But we're getting the bull, and they want you to follow a Torah, which came out of Babylon, with the Pharisees and Sadducees. They never existed before. They took their Babylonian Talmud, went to Jerusalem, and business opened up shop, and business was good. They had the bankers right there, right outside the temple walls, right? The bankers, and put that together. Okay, so let's try this again. So it is our destiny to find our place in an illuminated, perfect, divine humanity, the complete expression of the Christ, of the Moeshiach idea, of which Yeshua, Yashulamva, misnomered as Jesus, is the norm and the center. That's what the light is. It's at the center, the express image of the Father, and toward the realization of which every soul that has ever lived will in the end contribute his quota of spiritual experience. In this work, past, present, and future are one. None can, let me read that again. In this work, past, present, and future are one. None can be omitted. None can be spared. Every victory over blindness, which is the word evil, blindness, correctly. They didn't want you to know it was blindness, that you couldn't see. Okay? Every victory over blindness gained by an individual soul is gained for all of humanity. And that's why, Yeshua, I know Yeshua gave me this download, because I wasn't worthy of it, but he knew that I would then pass it on. He knew that I would be, willing to be a political activist and go on this journey of, not having a regular job and the life of Riley, watching television, drinking beer, and Monday Night Football. He knew that I would be willing to go down the trail, the 40 years in the wilderness, trying to learn how to do battle and slay the dragon, the serpent. It's not slaying the dragon, it's slaying the serpent, you see. That's how they change things, change it from a serpent to a dragon, and you never get the picture. Slaying the serpent is slaying the self, the ego, and the flesh, okay? And last line here, Christ, the Moeshiach, is the source and the goal of the entire mighty process. The Moeshiach, okay, falsely called Christ here, is the source and the goal of the whole mighty process. That's R.J. Campbell, Sermon on Earthly Race. And I got to get a book by him in all his sermons one day because he's got so much in here, and it is just a mind blower. So that's where that's at, ladies and gentlemen. The victory or triumph. Okay, it is over the self. It is over the falsehood, and the false teaching, the false words, the black sun. Because they want us to look at the false sun that they've created, the false light, which is then in what's called the scriptures. The original word is shultres, and the original word for Bible, or what they say is book. So the original word for book is shulfar, means the starfire, or the knowledge of fire. Shul means knowledge. Far is fire and far away at the same time. The fire that is far away. Talking about the sun. You see, it's always there. And so that's where we are there, ladies and gentlemen. And so I'm going to do a read out of the book of Dictionary of Symbols. You see, because we have to get the picture of symbols, ladies and gentlemen. It is about symbol, because the alphabet is symbols, and these are pictures that mean something deep. You know how they want you to study Hebrew and yet it's demotic, and they're saying this symbol means that and this symbol means that, and you look at them and you can't hardly tell one apart from the other one.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
code.
Yeah.
That's why they call their book the Sefer, because it's the Lucifer, which means the true cipher, the true code. They created a code that controls your thinking, that they got you stuck and lost in on the flypaper, because they don't want you going back looking at the capital letters I'm telling you about, which is the original Aramaic, Indo-Germanic mother tongue. Okay? Because these symbols that I'm sharing with you, I'll put it in the chat again for anybody who's not up on it. The original A, B, C, which the original is the A, V, G, and then we can add the D and there's no P, F, it's a PH, and the E and all that. Those are the letters, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the letters that tell the story. PH for creation. F is a false letter, and it is correctly PH, you see? And so they took that. So pi, like when they do pi in the half circle, right, is really PHAY. It's the woman. Okay, it's the Fae. The pi is the Fae because she is everything. The woman, well, isn't that what Adam said when he came to the lower garden, and then he woke up and he found himself divided in half, and he looks at his other half and sees the woman, and he says, whoa, man. He says, you, I will call you Aishafei, the Aishafei, the royal eye of the woman of creation, because you are the mother of all living. She comes last, and he declares, because he knows, because he named all things, it was up there in the atom with Yeshua while he made all things on earth, and Adam named everything, and so he names her. And he says, you are the mother of all living, the Aisha Faye, the royal eye of the creation, Zai. The royal eye of the creation's eye, you see? You don't get this from any pulpit anywhere, do you? No, they're not talking about this where I can define it as a science. And Kip, you're saying, do the symbols have a frequency energy when spoken? Symbols, well, they do. They
Yeah.
do in the sense that they are true, correct, complete, and not misleading, Kip. In other words, what did it say in Revelations? That I would give you a name that nobody can name. I will give you a name that nobody is naming. Say it either way, it's the same thing. Nobody's naming it. So Yeshua, Moshe Yanke, is the most primitive, but then I bring it Yeshua. Oh no, the most primitive is Yashulamva, Moshe Yanke. But then I find the middle ground because I don't want to lose everyone, and it's Yeshua, the Moesha Yak. Yeshua, I'll type it. Okay, Yeshua. Ya, SHOOAH, Yeshua. I'm spelling it wrong. Hold on, forgive me. Yashu. Okay, there it is. Yeshua, the Moashayach. Okay, Yeshua, the Moashayach. Okay, Yeshua, the Moashayach. That's the middle ground. Okay, because it's really Yeshulim Va, which means the knowledge of the serpent that goes round. Yeshulim Va, Yah. There's missing the L's, the secret vowels, the obelisk, the two columns, the Jacques Naboa, as we see in Freemasonry. The two columns are the two L's, and they represent sun and moon. Okay, so I found the middle ground. We move away from Jesus Christ because it's purely manufactured by the occultists, and we go back to the Aramaic, Indo-Germanic, aka also like Hebrew, not exactly Hebrew, but it was part originally of a Hebrew culture. But the alphabet was those letters I'm looking at right there, right now. Not what they brought back out of Babylon. Okay, they brought back a new alphabet out of Babylon. Okay, so and there's two A's in Yak, just like there's two A's in Aaron, because it's about the duality. One is a vowel, one is a consonant. One is silent, one is speaking. The one that speaks represents the falsehood. The one that is silent represents Yahweh. You see, and there's so much more that can be said about it. You can look at it as an anagram. You know, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the science. So the moon. I was going to open a book on symbols, and I got a card here. I was saving it for when we talked about symbols. Moon in the Aryan Sumerian, and I've been studying the Sumerian, okay, and I've got Waddell's dictionaries from the 1800s, and so the moon god, which God is a false narrative, the Elohimic moon might be a better way to say it. The Elohimic moon is a symbol of darkness and death. So there you go. The moon is a symbol of darkness and death, and that's what the occult embrace. And they put an eclipse. When the moon goes in front of the sun, it's an occult. That's hiding the light, and it's an eclipse, and that's where they want to keep it. You see, the moon in front of the sun. That's why when you see the pictures in the Vatican of that, like the chalice, or what is it, the thing that looks like a starburst. It's got a circle, and it has got IHS in there, and yet there's two kinds of rays coming out. There's a ray that you can see is like fire, and then there's a ray that's a straight point like a knife, and the straight point like a knife is the moon, and then the squiggle is the fire of the sun. So there's two circles there, and you can only see it by looking at the ray. If you can identify, there's two types of rays. Every other one is the squiggle of the fire. Every other one is a straight ray, a point, like a knife. That's the moon. Okay, so it's the symbol. So that's an occult. They're telling you in the symbolism that they're hiding the light. Okay, and Confucius says, signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor law. Okay, and so lies. Well, living is easy with your eyes closed, but we have to open our eyes. Okay, it's easy to not have to work at this, not have to engage it as a scientist, and just hope that somebody's going to tell you straight on Sunday, for 45 minutes. It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. Cannot happen that way. It is a science, and it is an awakening. It's an enlightenment. That's the Elijah, the Elijah, the enlightenment that goes round. Okay, Yeshua came to bring in the golden age of light, of truth and reason, the ability to know all things, because all things can be known. He said there's nothing unknown that cannot be known. There's nothing in secret or hidden that cannot be revealed. Nothing, because that is the nature of this universe. Everything speaks. Okay, and he is the master, the mother star. That's the word for master, is mother star. He reveals. He's a revealer. He'll lead you down that trail. He'll show you where the gold's buried right underground, because he did it with me many times. Okay, many times. So
Desert, can I just
yeah.
say wow and let there be Zoré? I love this. I love this so much. It's amazing. Thank you
All right. Well, I'm
for
motivated.
sharing. Yeah, it's
I wouldn't be
amazing.
doing it if it weren't for you. So thank you for being a real trooper and a shining star down there
Oh,
in Australia. Okay, because yeah, there's some that have tried to snuff out our work, and we feel sorry for them. They are that what I talk about is, you can tell I am an authority on what I talk about. This is beyond
yes, yes.
college level teaching. They don't teach us stuff in college because they don't want you to know this stuff. you know. This is what they've hidden from us. All the universities are under the control and license of the Vatican. Okay, and so we're not going to get this. Yet this is the real science that has been stolen from us. I give you the examples real soon. Um, we're going to have a board where I can do writing right on the screen on Ninja while where you're putting up the graphics. I'm going to be writing on the screen very shortly within the next month or so, and I'll
Wow.
be doing a better job of presenting this stuff. It's coming, all right?
Wow, that'll be
It's
amazing for Cosmic as
yeah.
well. Just while we're here, I'm just going to put the graphic up. So, yeah, but please continue. Wow, can't wait
Thank you,
for
Kip,
that. Yeah.
also for your support, Kip. There's been a group of people that have been working behind the scenes, trying to take us down, to discredit this work. And it's not that they don't know. It's not that they don't get it. They do get it. They're not who they claim to be. They're the enemy. Okay, and that's why they work to take this work down, to discredit this work, and to subversively, uh, you know, um, connect with the people who listen to this broadcast, and then dissuade them from hearing these things. But I think everybody should have a right to hear whatever is available out there and make their own comparison, do their own thinking. You know, you notice we don't be talking about what other people are doing on their channels, because it's irrelevant for me. I don't care what other people. I know what other people are doing, and I know what I'm doing. And what I'm talking about. When you go to the cosmic essence, thank you, Ninja, for perfect timing. When you go to the cosmic essence, you're going to hear the true nature of Adam. You're going to hear the true nature of the Watchers. You're going to hear the true nature of the flood. You're going to hear the true nature of the alphabet. And you're going to realize that what I'm telling you, what I'm sharing with you, putting on the table, giving proofs and analysis and the sources, is that everybody is out in left field. Okay, we're going to bring you home because nobody's telling the story, right? Because the propaganda is prevalent. The propaganda dominates. It's said that the beast system has deceived the entire world, and therefore they control the narrative, they control the universities, they control the schools, they control the politicians, they control the pulpit, they control the translations, they control the words outside the Vatican at a place called the College of Abbreviators. They control it all. But Yeshua said, I will give you a name that is correctly, I will give you the royal title that nobody can name. Okay, the royal title, not name, royal title. I will give you the royal title that nobody can breathe. Okay, and so that's what we have conveyed here. There's a lot of people out there that are good people, and they know the problem, but they don't have the keys. Remember, what did Yeshua say when they finally identified him as the Moeshiach? He says, I give you the keys, because flesh and blood has not revealed this to you. It's the Spirit of the Father. And now I give you the keys. He wasn't just giving it to Kephe. That's how they want us to get the picture. He was giving it all 12 of them, the keys. He said of the priesthood, he says, you have the keys of eternal life, and you're not going in, nor are you letting anybody else go in. So he gave them the keys. They didn't need the priesthood. Yeshua is the high priest, right? After the order of Melech Eshadek. Melech Eshadek, not Melchizedek. Melech Eshadek. Melech is the original word that was stolen, and they put in angel, because they didn't want us to know about the word Melech Eshadek. Melech, royal messenger, mother's tongue. Okay, that's the Indo-Germanic. And so he gives us the keys. The keys are always available. Can he not give you the keys at any time he wants to give you the keys to open up the great mystery of life? The keys to go home? The true meaning of a symbol? The true meaning of a tree? Just like, okay, it wasn't a burning bush that Moeshan saw. It was a burning tree. It wasn't a calf that they had made. It was a bull. We know it's a bull. We know it's about the bull. Like when you look at Mithraism, or what the Mycenaean traditions. All of them were about the bull. Conquering the bull, which is another version of conquering the serpent and conquering the self. Okay, so we're in the book of Dictionary of Symbols by Surlot, and so the first we're going through the alphabet. We take the next letter each time we come back in here on Ninja's broadcast. And so we're in letter P. I've already read the whole book, these two dictionaries and encyclopedias I've got. Took 40 years to read them. Now I'm reading it back little by little to all of you out there to help you to better appreciate the meaning of symbols and how everything has a higher attic meaning. Okay, so place, and so there's no, not place, palace. Okay, so look at the word palace. I guess I got to start typing here because I want you to see it. Okay, I don't want you to just hear it. I want you to see it. So P-A-L-A-C. There's the word ace. Okay, and but look at it, P-H, because you have to have an H with a P.
Desert, I
That's
see
original.
something in that. Sorry.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Okay, so palace,
I just
and
saw
then
it before it came up. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I
and
saw.
then of course the
Yeah.
word place is there as well. And
Yep.
Anna, good to have you. And so so we see that what they're calling the palace is really abbreviated. As I said, they abbreviate all the words,
Yeah.
and it's really a phallus,
Yeah.
right? That's why outside the Vatican we see the obelisk, right? That right in between the X and the X and the cross at the very center of the keyhole. Okay, the key is the keyhole is the key, and the key is the phallus. Okay, and so what they're then saying is then it is therefore the center of creation. Of course, it's the center of creation, right? That's where the king rules from. He says, go build the road, go build a bridge, go conquer that nation. He's running the show. He's creating from his phallus, not his palace. Okay, so it has to have an H. P has an H, and so a palace is a phallus, and then the word ace is there, meaning the highest aspect, the ace, the most powerful, the palace, the place. Okay, so all in there, and so now we're going to read the that. Thank you. There's the keyhole. Right in the keyhole is the key, and it's the center of creation. It's the phallus, symbol of time, symbol of light, and and the male sexual organ, of course. And so all of those metaphors. There's the X and the cross. We find it also on the British flag, the X and the cross, saying that they are then agents of the Vatican, right? That's because signs and symbols rule. They're telling you who they work for. Britain works for the Vatican through the Rothschilds, through the City of London, through the mayor of London. The Queen bows down to the mayor of the City of London. Then he must be her superior. And they, as you look in the Catholic Encyclopedia, find out that the Rothschild banking family are the protectors and defenders of what? The Vatican trust. So they're all different layers of the onion, you know? So, palace. In Kabbalistic symbolism, the sacred palace, or the inner palace, the inner palace, the inner phallus that's hiding, is located at the junction of the six directions of space, which together with the center, and since it said 6 points and not 4, we know it's the 6-pointed star, the 6 points of creation. That's what it's talking about. That's a code right there, you see. He couldn't come out and say that because they also write in code in here because they're giving out a lot of secrets, but they're not giving all the secrets, okay? And so, yeah, everybody wants to hang around that phallus, don't they? And so it's located at the junction of the 6 directions of space, which together with the center form a septenary. That's, in other words, the 6 points, and then the septenary, the 7th point, is the phallus that's rising out of the 6-pointed star, the 6-pointed symbol. That's the septenary. It is consequently a symbol of the occult center, occult center. They're not telling you what that means over there. So it's an occult, right? Because they're not telling you what it all represents. They know you're stupid, of course, and that you'll never get it. That's why they called the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John Gospels. Go spell, fool. We know you can't. Go spell. You don't even know change your words. You don't even know that. Let alone can you spell the originals. You don't even know there's a switch out going on. Let's go drink some more blood and kill some children. Yeah, let's go do that. That sounds like fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. While we fool all of mankind,
Yeah.
fooling all of mankind down the sewer.
Not all of them.
Okay.
Not all of them are full desert.
Well, that's right. You can fool most of the people most of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. They know that. They
Yeah.
don't care if a few of us fall through the cracks because the majority are all just eating it up. Eat it up. Dogma. I love that dogma. Oh, what kind of dogma is it? Well, it's dogma. You know what I mean, right? Dogma. It's pretty good, isn't it? I love that dogma. Yeah, let me get some more. All
Desert, you're
right.
gonna
Yeah.
set me off.
That's all right. We got to laugh sometimes, Ninja.
Yeah, I need
Got
a
to.
giggle. Need a giggle.
All right.
Yeah.
So okay. So it's the symbol at the occult center, and this phallus and the palace of the
Sorry.
unmoved mover. The unmoved mover.
I'm muting
Well, the
out.
unmoved mover would be the sun. The light's at the middle, right? It's unmoved. Everything's going around the sun. You see, the unmoved mover is so, but yet it became an occultic darkness. They put out the light. It is also known as the silver palace, the silver thread, being the hidden bond which joins man to his origin and to his end, the end that we have to meet. We can meet it now rather than later. That's the beauty behind the metaphysics of the of what Yeshua was bringing us. That we could die to this world now, not wait till the end. Do it now, be done with it, and then live for Him in this duality that we're in the light, not the darkness. This concept, or maybe we should call it. Well, this is a concept, not a precept, but this concept of the center embraces the heart and the mind. Well, then we should call it a precept then. This precept of the center embraces the heart and the mind. Hence, the legends and folk tales. The palace of the old king contains secret chambers representing the unconsciousness, which holds treasure or spiritual truths. Okay, that's your treasure in the throne of the sun, treasure in heaven. In your mind, what you know is your treasure. Loeffler suggests that palaces made of glass or of mirrors, and also of those which suddenly appear as if by magic, are especially symbolic of the ancestral memories of mankind, of the basic primitive awareness of the golden age. The primitive awareness, see, so the primitive awareness was what was being offered. The golden age was first in the light. That's where Adam was while he was naming all things. And then the golden age finally comes down through our soul navigator, our savior, Yeshua. He brings us the golden age. He brought the light down so that we could see clearly. Okay. And and then the next thing is interesting, a palafit. A palafit, it's not a common term we're used to, and it's an architectural pillar or lentil owing their origin to the palafit or lake dwelling.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm not going to read that, but maybe next
Interesting.
time I'll put it here
Yeah.
for next time. I'm lifting my voice a little bit now, Ninja, so
Okay.
I don't know if I got much more I can do. Anybody, if you have a comment or a question, put in the chat, all capital letter, or desert in all capital letters, and upper and lowercase, for your comment or question. I'll see that. Okay. And any follow up on your part, Ninja?
Just wow. Does it?
Vav.
Okay.
Vav.
Vav.
Get with the program. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm still breaking her in. I can't get over it. Come on.
I'm so used to saying wow, and Vav sounds funny with the Aussie accent. Yeah, so I resist.
All right. That's okay. I'll let you get away with
Please
it.
give me the
All right.
sunrise. Does it? I
I'm not going to
resist.
beat you over the head with the Vav.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, I guess we've done enough damage for one day, Ninja. I've got a little more in front of me, but I'm feeling it today a little bit, and so maybe we'll stop. We got to work out this phone issue, so we can. I've got a little more technical stuff. I'll try, so I can take a call better, because
Okay, well, I'll
it
take
would
that
be
off
great
the
to have people
screen.
calling in,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I
No,
hope everybody out there is telling their friends about the broadcast. Don't forget, check out the Cosmic Essence. The link is right there below NinjaCat 111 on the left. There's the link to the Cosmic Essence, and we've got a few playlists there that'll just, you know, nobody is talking about the true nature of Adam. Nobody's talking about the true correct nature of watchers. And we took you to the lost writings. we took you to the scriptures that came out of Ethiopia. That's the reason they burned all the libraries, from Jerusalem to Alexandria, to even in India, and even even in Washington D.C. The British burned our libraries here as well. Why do they burn libraries? Why would they do that? I mean, that just doesn't sound like a military strategic facility, but they want to destroy our history. They want to destroy our connection with the past. That's what we see in the movie Avatar. Movie Avatar. What were they going? What was the? Where were the sky gods? Because that's really what they represented. The blue, bigger than everybody else. These Nave. Oh, they're called Nave, which is the Navy, which means they are star navigators. They're the Nave, which means is the root form of navigator. The navigator meaning the power of star navigation, meaning knowing the way home. That's the original word for prophet. And so, what were they going to cut down in the movie Avatar? The big tree. They all lived in the
Yep.
big tree. It represents
Yep.
our family tree,
Yep.
the tree of mankind, our history. And so, once they cut down the tree, they cut off our connection with our past. And we start with a clean slate. We don't know who we are. We don't know where we are. We don't know why we are. And we don't know when we are. We're lost in space, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why this presentation is so important, because we go where nobody else is going. We define it finitely, and we give you the sources, and we freely give it, ladies and gentlemen. And so, Ninja, that's a wrap. And I just want to remind everybody, if they want to know the future, they need to look for the Forbidden History, because it's all right here, coming their way 7 days a week, because it's all recorded. They can get it anytime they want. And it's what they didn't want you to know, that
tell
Ninja,
right here.
well,
Right here.
somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm the glutton for that kind of punishment. So bring it on, ladies and gentlemen, and love to hear from you, because the truth is stranger than fiction, but the truth will set you free. But the truth may make you a fugitive within your own land, but the truth can set you free. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for stopping by, for tuning in, friends. We've been seeing you for a long time now. Love you. And Ninja, thank you as well. Love you for all your great effort, and live forever. Okay, that's what we want to do. So I'll sign off now, and we'll look for us on Sunday night. I'm not sure of the time, but probably around 8 o'clock Eastern, 8 Sunday night Eastern time, on Forbidden History Archive. Now Forbidden History Archive. It was Forbidden History Live. Now Forbidden History Archive. Do subscribe and like, and love to hear your comments, ladies and gentlemen. Ninja, peace and love. We'll see you. I'm out of here.
Thank you, Desert, for everything. Lava love you always, and may you live forever as well. Um, that was amazing. Sorry, I'm scrolling. I'm looking for the channels. Yes, please subscribe. The links are in the description. Um, and if you want to see and read it for yourself, even more so, we have PDFs that I have not spoken of during this live stream. So you can get PDFs. Any size donation will get you. We request just ask for one at a time. You can get the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary, written by Dezert-Owl, and there's also the Book of Wisdom. Amazing read. There's amazing advice in this book, and also a sample of the original gospel with a more up-to-date version of the dictionary at the back of it. If you excuse me, if you have not got any money to donate, because a lot of us are struggling, and you want the PDFs, we will get it to you anyway. It's that important. We're happy to get them to you anyway. All contact information is in the description on all of these live streams. And if you have not done so yet, please subscribe to the Forbidden History series and Forbidden History Archive. And check the bell. Desert's broadcasting from Forbidden History Archive, And the Forbidden History series um, is his old channel. A lot is revealed on that channel, so please go and check it out. Listen, go back to June 21st last year, 2018. Um, okay, and that's it for me. My voice is starting to go as well. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining and for hanging in there with us during our slight technical issues. um, all right, let there be Zore, creating light for all of you, always. And it was good to see you all here. And as per usual, I'm just looking for some music. Um, okay, be safe, guys. And see you next time.